2.5 Exploded Views and Component Parts, also known as another opportunity for me to make a complete fool of myself. Alright, let's get into this. So we're going to be looking at different views over a whole bunch of the next videos. So what's a view? A view is a scale diagram. Hey, you know what that is. We've talked about scale diagrams. That shows one plane of an object. It's also called an elevation. Although I have to admit, it doesn't really sit right with me. Like, if I say, oh, this view of an object, that's the same as saying this elevation of an object. It just doesn't sound right to me. But that's what I've been told, or I read. It's also an elevation. So we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at an exploded view on this page, which is going to be really hard for me to draw. And then on the next page, we're going to do component parts view, and that's going to be okay. I can draw that one, I think. So we'll start with the exploded view. It's an example of an oblique view. An oblique view is a slanted or inclined view of an object, right? It's not flat. The other one we do on the other page is going to be a flat view, not an oblique one. But with the exploded view, it's slanted. So an exploded view is a 3D view. The one on the other page is two-dimensional, but this is three-dimensional view showing how the components of an object fit together. The components are shown separated but in their relative positions, and the dotted lines show where the pieces fit together. So I'm going to show you a couple examples here, although these aren't perfect because it doesn't have the dotted lines. You know, there's variations on these things, but these are both pretty good examples of exploded views. It's like the actual object has been exploded onto all its different pieces, and you can see all the pieces involved. So here's a question before you. Can you tell what these objects are? I shouldn't have put these at the end, should I? I should have put them at the start of the sheet. But anyway, can you tell what these objects are? They're two different objects. They're not related to each other at all or anything. Can you figure out what they are? This one, I guess the giveaways are probably this part, although I think this part should be drawn a little bit bigger. And I guess this part, maybe these two parts. Figure it out. It's a bike, but it's not just any bike. It's a stationary bike. You know what I'm talking about? Something like this. It doesn't match up perfectly with this, but gives you an idea of what we're actually looking at there. Okay, so that's the first one. How about the second one? What's this thing? A bit tougher, I think. Key parts on this one, I think this might help. This right here, maybe this bit. It's something that many of you will have at home. Not everyone does, though. If you do have one, you're a lucky person. We've got one. It's a dishwasher. Right, I don't think I need to show you a picture of a dishwasher, but these are all the parts of a dishwasher. So there you go, those are the sort of things we're going to do, and now I have to try to draw something like this. Oh my gosh. So we're going to try to do an exploded view of this shelving unit. Yes, I'm making it very, very simple for myself, a shelving unit. Now, a few things. First of all, I hope you can see this. It's white on white. Okay, next thing. We have to agree on what the parts are. Like, you see this whole back of the shelving unit? I'm going to assume that's one big part of the back. It's possible it's one part and a second part and a third part, but I'm going to assume that's one giant part at the back, one on the right, one on the top, one on the left. You got your one shelf, two shelf, three shelf, and I'm going to say that's a separate part at the bottom that's actually sitting on some kind of black matte sort of surface. So I'm going to start with that black matte sort of surface. And I'm going to draw, remember this is an oblique view, so I'm going to draw this in a three-dimensional sort of way, something like this, and I'll color that in. There we go, there's that black matte sort of thing, rubbery matte I'm picturing at the bottom there. By the way, you often draw these things approximate. You don't take the time to figure out exact measurements, but you try to make it realistic looking. Okay, so now I'm going to draw this lower shelf right here. So it's basically exactly the same shape, isn't it? So it should look something like that. Approximately, it should be right above. It should be the same size. I probably haven't done that well. And then what you do is you put dotted lines to show that this sits right there. So dotted line there, but then you can't see through that. This dotted line would come down here. Because I've drawn it black, that wasn't a good choice actually. This dotted line would actually go all the way down to here. And then this one goes up like that. And actually we have to draw, so we've got these two, the mat, the bottom shelf. I have to draw three more shelves. So I'm just going to take some time here and draw that. Wait a second and I'll be back. Okay, this is really shameful. I mean, look at this thing. It's going to fall apart. But that's the idea. Now for the side, I don't want it to be this long, right? That's way actually too long because once I put these shelves closer together, it wouldn't actually be that long. So what I might want to do to compensate for that is to put some dotted lines and then down, and some dotted lines and then down, and then draw it here. And then same from the bottom, I could go up to here and the bottom up to here. And that might be a more realistic sizing for that. Okay, same on the other side. All right, these dotted lines are just showing where everything belongs. So this edge here is going to attach there. This one here is going to attach here, right? Again, this is absolutely horrible drawing, but I'm hoping you're getting the idea. So have I done everything? No, I haven't done the back piece. So this is going to be really hard to draw. I mean, it's nice if you can do it all one color, but I think I might use a different color just to make sure we can get this. So I'll put some dotted lines coming back here, and then I'm going to draw this actual thing. So it's going to go down, down, down. So I'll actually stop here. I'll go across. Now it's got a hole down there, doesn't it? So somewhere around here it's got this hole. And I don't know, I'll go all the way over to here, I think. And I'll come up from there like this. And where's that attached? It attaches right here. So I'd have dot, 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 and then up to here, and dot, 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 and up to there. Again, you look at that, it's just a giant mess. But I'm hoping it gives you an idea. There's some pictures in your workbook. I'll show you some more pictures in class. I'm sorry, everyone. I really feel this is not my best unit to be teaching you. All right, let's do the same drawing again, but this time we're going to do it component parts. I can do this one. I can do this. So this is also called a constituent parts diagram. Component parts diagram, constituent parts diagram. Basically, it shows all the individual pieces that fit together to complete the whole object. Well, wait a minute, that's what we did in this one too. This one showed all the different pieces that fit together. Yes, that's true, but this time it's going to be sketched in 2 dimensions, a flat picture. You're not going to have those oblique views, right? Remember how we drew everything like the bottom, we drew it like this, like in an oblique manner, so it looked like it was going back a little bit. This time we're going to do flat views like this. So you do not need to redraw all the identical pieces. If there's pieces that look exactly the same, you could just redraw the piece, and let's say there were 5 of them, you could just put like 5 times, or you could put out front 5 times. Does this remind you of anything? Some of you have built stuff with your family. Remind you a little bit of IKEA pictures? And so IKEA instructions sometimes look like this. All right, so let's go through this one. Starting at the bottom again, we have our black matte sort of piece. And what shape is that thing? It's a rectangle. So I can actually just draw a rectangle, and I don't know, about that size. And again, maybe I'll make it black. Look, I actually know what I'm doing now. So there. So there's our bottom one. Now, above that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more of those, same shape. So I'm going to draw another rectangle, which should be pretty much exactly the same shape. I'll do my best. What, something like that? And I want 4 of those. So then I could put times 4. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put 1 times here, and I'll put 4 times there. Okay, what else do we got? We've got the 2 sides. So those are also rectangles, although they're a lot longer. Maybe I'll put them on the side to help people picture what they actually look like. What do you think? Something like that long? And we have 2 of those, so I can put times 2 here, 2 times. And then I think the only other thing we have is the big thing on the back. So we've got a big rectangle on the back. It should be the same height as this, so I'll do it right beside it to make sure. And what do you think? Something like, well, it should be the same width as those first rectangles I did, so what's that? Something like that? I think that's pretty good. And don't forget, we have a little circle. I can even use my circle device here. So it looks like that. And how many of those do we have? We just have 1 of those as well. So darn it, I didn't leave myself space. I'll squish it in here. 1 times those. Guess what I like better? These instructions or the previous ones? These ones. Look at how beautiful that looks. Look at how horrible. I mean, this is so bad. But you know what? If this was drawn properly, clearly, it actually could do a nice job of representing this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if I can clean this up for you right now. Okay, there's everything except the back. I think this is looking a little better. I've drawn all the faces, the shelvings, the sides, everything. I've drawn it all in blue. The bottom one, here's the mat, the black mat. I did it gray so you can still see the dotted lines through it. I think you can see a little bit better how it all fits together. The last thing I need to do is the big back to this, which I think is going to make the whole thing look very confusing. So I'm going to draw this down to here. I'll draw this going way over to here, and it comes up and back over to there. I don't know if that looks big enough, but I'm going to go with that, and then I just need to draw some more dotted lines and I'll be done. So this corner would attach where? Right here. This corner here would attach to there. So I don't know, what would I do? Maybe go up and over and down? Gosh, this is getting awkward. This would attach here, so again, I have the same problem. Maybe it'd come over and then up from there, but then, you know, it's getting a little complicated because I got multiple lines intersecting, and then same, I need it to go over to here and then up to there. So I don't know, someone who does these for a living, I'm sure could critique this and tell me what I'm doing incorrectly. Again, now that I'm done, I think it does look like a bit of a mess. I'm finding it hard to really see this too clearly. I kind of would like to get rid of the dotted lines. Even by getting rid of those dotted lines, I think we're left with something which is a lot easier to understand. Oh, wait a minute, what's the last thing I have to do here? See what I missed? I missed my circle right down here. Where is it? Around there? So, you know, that drawing right there, I can kind of picture that. I can figure out, maybe I just do some dotted lines, but not all of them. But this gives you an idea of the difference between exploded views and component parts. They both show all the parts. The exploded views show it with some depth to it. This is a three-dimensional drawing, isn't it? Whereas with the component parts, which I love, it's all flat. So obviously this one's not as useful because it's harder to picture how you piece them all together. This is good when you're just need to know which parts you need. If you need to know how to put the parts together, this is probably more what you would need to have. Alright, so another dismal failure by me, but we'll work together and you can probably help me out with this and we'll get through it together. Alright, take care. Bye-bye.